With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 300 undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
The Bodyguard. I don't need to introduce that movie to anyone. The Bodyguard is a classic movie. I wouldn't even call it a cult classic. It is a classic movie. And what made The Bodyguard special, for those who may not be old enough to remember it, you had Whitney Houston at the height of her celebrity, playing someone who she could actually be in that movie. You had Kevin Costner near the height of his celebrity, playing in the co-starring role. And that's what made it, I think, so much more impactful for its time. You had arguably the best soundtrack in movie history with the Bodyguard soundtrack. Arguably. That, your personal preferences aside, I'm talking about just the success of the soundtrack. To now say, we're going to do a remake. No, you should not. I don't care if you have the rights to it. I don't care if it's been 33 years or whatever. I don't care, and I mean this respectfully, I don't care that just because Whitney Houston has passed, that means it's okay to remake the movie. No. Leave classic movies alone. Leave cult classic movies alone. This movie is a classic. You don't need to remake it. And a lot of the problems with remakes is the story that you told back then doesn't make sense now. It doesn't make sense. You can try to, let's exchange Whitney Houston for Taylor Swift. And if you know the Bodyguard soundtrack, you have the Bodyguard, you have this obsessed fan who you think it is, this obsessed fan. And sorry, spoiler alert, it's actually her sister who's setting her up to be killed. If you haven't seen the movie, oh well, I spoiled it for you. But that story really doesn't make sense now, not with social media. You can update it, but it's not going to have the same type of allure.
And remember the stalker, or who we believe to be the stalker, was writing letters.
Yes.
Sending letters in the mail. That's not happening at all. It's just not.
And in today's world, because of all the things which have happened in the intervening 30 years or so, you don't get that type of access to an actual star the magnitude of a Whitney Houston.
You don't get that type of access to a Janet Jackson. Nope. I remember when you brought her over to the beat, and I remember being told not to get too close to her, even to her bodyguard, because I was told this individual has instructions to break you in half if you get too close.
True story. I was what they call tour support for Janet Jackson when I was working for Virgin Records, and I had the great privilege of escorting Janet Jackson to 92.3 The Beat. And I was, the label person, and I was basically running the photos. Okay, another 5 people, get your photo with Janet Jackson and everything. And I had explicit instructions, and it wasn't from Janet. It was just, you have to keep your physical distance from her.
Yes.
You just had to, or these big burly guys would break you in half.
They did not look like they were there to play. I remember feeling an icy cold death run down my spine after it was explained to me, because I was just like trying to say, okay, hey, we're going to go into the studio, and I was reaching out, and the intensity of that moment, it was like, whoa. Do not, for any reason, touch or reach out to touch Janet Jackson.
Yeah.
Do not. These individuals here will kill you.
For those who don't know, this was at the height of her celebrity, the Velvet Rope album. She did not get any bigger than that when she went on that tour and everything. So, yeah, I got a lot of stories to tell. A lot.
Say all that to say that security has gotten even tighter around artists.
Yeah.
They are rolling with 5 and 6 different bodyguards, period. Individuals that are trained with all types of deadly force.
Yeah, and you do an updated Bodyguard. You maybe go to Coachella or something like that. You'll probably update the tentpole moments of the movie. You don't need to do that. Just watch the original Bodyguard. It's good enough as is. Leave it alone. Don't look. There are probably some other movies they're thinking about remaking right now that escape my mind. Just don't.
Gremlins.
Oh gosh.
They have actually confirmed that Gremlins and Goonies, Mo, Goonies.
Why? That movie doesn't make sense in 2025.
As if every kid the age of the Goonies does not have a cell phone right now.
Right. The whole idea of just using their imagination doesn't make sense.
No. Unless it's a period piece. And if that's the case, watch the original Goonies.
Chronicles of Narnia doesn't even make sense now.
Yeah,
if you go back and read The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe.
Yeah, it doesn't.
The whole idea. They're great because of when they were made and the time that they represent. The Bodyguard in the early 90s, I think it was 92. Someone correct me.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
For that time was perfect for that time. Music celebrities. People don't even buy albums anymore. Will Smith just dropped an album. It sold 268 copies. I'm not exaggerating. 268.
That number seems high.
Black.
I was going to talk about it tonight, but there's not much to say about 268. That's the beginning and end of the conversation. How does the album do?
Basically trash.
268. 268. Anything with 268 behind it is horrible. How many people were in the theater? 268. Ooh, that's bad. How many people went to the concert? 268. Ooh, damn.
Oh, man.
How many subscribers you got? 268. Ooh. Raise that up again. My point is, certain things, you can't go back. You honestly cannot go back. You cannot recapture certain magic because the magic was connected to the time it was in. You don't have music celebrities the likes of a Whitney Houston anymore. No disrespect to Beyonce. No disrespect to Taylor Swift. There is a degree of iconicism. What's the word, Mark?
I'm not sure what you're trying to say.
Iconic. There's a level of iconicness.
Oh, yeah, okay. Am I the only person alive who thought that movie was just cheesy?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Probably.
Yes, you're the only one.
Okay.
Yeah, Stefan, you like The Bodyguard?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, 100% of the people in the chat like The Bodyguard. Carnation, you like The Bodyguard?
Good thing your mic is off, young lady. Good thing your mic is off.
For those who didn't know, Carnation runs our chat room, and she said that she hasn't seen The Bodyguard.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
I plan on watching it.
How can you sit? We're having this long, my head hurts. Having this long conversation about The Bodyguard, and you haven't even seen the movie.
But I still do agree with you, though. It doesn't need to be remade. So at least I agree with you. I'll go home and watch it tonight.
It's too late. It's too late. Can I just go to break? Because
Whitney's gone. Whitney's gone.
It's hurt.
Don't do that.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And also YouTube at Mr. Mo Kelly. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. It's Later with Mo Kelly. Let's talk about the box office. Last segment, we were talking about The Bodyguard, which was a box office hit. And 93% of the people in the chat on the YouTube video stream said, do not remake The Bodyguard. Do not. And I'm with them. And there was 1% who had not seen it. And that 1% is Carnisha. And Carnisha needs to see the movie.
Oh, my God.
Don't bring God into this. That's your fault. That's your sin.
That's your sin.
The power of Christ compels you. Okay, box office this week. A Minecraft movie is still doing gangbusters. Number one movie again. It brought in another 78 million in its second week. 78 million is a great first week. I'm just talking about domestically. Worldwide, it's already over $550 million. It's going to hit $1 billion easy.
I try to tell you.
And I don't root against movies. I don't root against theaters. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and say that because a Minecraft movie is doing so well in the box office that it's saved movie theaters. But it has helped out a lot of movie theaters because the summer movie season has not even begun. This is a surprise to get a hit this big in April. Let's be honest, early April.
Plus, it's going to go gangbusters this week alone because it's spring break.
You got that right.
All these kids who've been waiting to go to a theater, throw popcorn, to yell at the screen, to just carry on like Minecraftian fools. Yeah, they're going to go in.
And this is something which obviously I haven't seen the movie, but I can see how it fits with this social media generation. You have these Minecraft challenges, if you will, where people are duplicating the behavior that they've seen on social media and acting out the movie in theaters. It's perfect for that. It's a non-controversial movie. There's nothing holding the movie back at all. It's in 4,200 theaters. In other words, maximum exposure across the country. It's in all theaters in all quadrants of the country. That's what you need for a movie to be successful on this level. And it is doing, it's going up. It actually added another 30 theaters this past week.
Wow. Yeah.
So it's increasing in its popularity. It's great to see it. Obviously, you just can't duplicate it all the time. Sometimes you just need all the stars to align. In second this week was The King of Kings. Brought in 19 million domestically, yet it wasn't released internationally. Obviously, Easter coming up. Number 3, we heard the Ron Report with The Amateur, Rami Malek, and didn't do poorly. It had 14.8 million domestically, 17.4 million internationally, 32 million was its 32.2 million was its take for this week. I wonder. Let me look up the budget on this one.
Did you wind up seeing it?
I could not. My weekend was so full. I just did not have the opportunity. The budget was only 60 million. It did half its budget in its first week. It'll be fine.
We're going to get The Amateur too. He's going to have to get married again and have his second wife be killed so he can go on another revenge spree.
Oh gosh, you are dark.
I didn't make the movie. Don't blame the victim.
Can you get like a dog? Does he have to get
like John Wick?
Yeah. Well, it's been done.
Okay. Warfare. Came in at number 4. A platoon of Navy SEALs embark on a dangerous mission in Iraq with the chaos and brotherhood of war retold through their memories of the event. I've heard good things about this.
It's got a big social media push.
Yeah, I've heard good things. It brought in 8 million this week, largely by word of mouth. Came in number 4, 8 million. Number 5 was Drop with 7.3 million. Don't know what that was about. A widowed mother's first date in years takes a terrifying turn when she's bombarded with anonymous threatening messages on her phone during their upscale dinner, leaving her questioning if her charming date is behind the harassment.
Dun, dun, dun.
You saw it?
No, it looks good.
Oh, okay.
It's like a high-paced thriller.
Yeah, the trailer makes it look really annoying because already somebody eating dinner with you and getting constant texts. I'm not sure
you're not wrong
to take on that.
You're not wrong. It's like, do you need to get that? You need to
turn your phone off.
Yeah. Well, someone's texted me and they're talking about killing me. I might have to take this.
It's a work text. I have to take this.
I might have to take this.
Number 6 is The Chosen Last Supper Part 3. Number 7 is A Working Man Still Hanging in There. It brought in another 3 million this week for a total of 78 million worldwide. It's about what I expected for the movie. Snow White, surprisingly, is still in the top 10, but not really doing any measurable numbers. It brought in 2.8 million. Worldwide is 182 million. It's still going to fall well short of its budget. Well short.
Yeah.
And number 9 is The Woman in the Yard. In its third week, it's brought in 20 million. And number 10 is The Chosen Last Supper Part 2.
Mark, you haven't seen The Woman in the Yard yet?
I just haven't gotten around to it. Last week, my big theatrical excursion was The Amateur, and I spent the weekend watching a bunch of streaming stuff, including the great brand new Black Mirror.
Ooh.
I have a confession to make. I haven't watched any Black Mirror.
Ever?
Ever.
Oh, it's really good.
You got to check
What's
it out.
What's it about?
It's kind of a tech-based descendant of the Twilight Zone, yeah.
How many seasons in is it?
I think it's 7, and they're not very long seasons either.
Okay, that's good, because that means I can binge watch in a given weekend.
Well, and it's an anthology, so you can jump around.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's not
It's
sequential.
not because each story is its own thing. It's really good.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could get into that.
Yeah, this Charlie Brooker guy, who is the creator of it, and also, I think, a comedian in Great Britain, he's a brilliant cat.
Oh, okay. All right, I got something else to watch. Whenever I have time, whenever that is. I just don't know
Add it
when
to the
that
list,
is.
yeah.
Look, I got a long list, and so does Tuala.
Yeah.
When we come back, we got to tell you about the Breakfast Club 40th reunion. I posted it on the Mr. Mo Kelly Facebook page and also Later with Mo Kelly Facebook page. I think I put it out on Threads at Mr. Mo Kelly, but you can find it anywhere. We're going to play some audio from it when we come back. But you got to see it. It is well worth. It's like 2 hours long, if I'm not mistaken, but it's well worth it. You get some real behind the scenes, inside baseball stuff about that movie that we know that Carnisha hasn't seen because she hasn't seen The Bodyguard. I won't even ask her about The Breakfast Club. She has. You haven't seen The Breakfast Club. Daniel, she's fired. Fired. Fired.
It didn't come on BET.
Oh my God. You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's one of the points they raised.
You're not wrong.
Molly Ringwald pointed out how white that movie was back in the day.
You do know who Molly Ringwald is, right?
Oh, God.
Does she?
No, she doesn't.
Oh.
Maybe
if
I see the face, then
No.
If you have to see the face, we're already too far
my
gone.
head hurts.
I love it.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
And YouTube. And for all those who have seen The Breakfast Club, probably love The Breakfast Club. It's an iconic movie. Another movie, if you try to remake it, I'll probably hurt you. I'd probably go out of my way to harm you. Just me personally.
that should remain untouched.
Yeah. Untouched. It's one of those movies which may not appeal to everyone, but it appealed to me because I felt like it was my high school. Even though it was set in the Midwest, the people, Bender, that was South Torrance High School as far as I was concerned. I could identify with that experience. That's part of the reason why it's always stayed with me. Well, we had recently the 40th anniversary reunion. The first time the cast had gotten back together in the history of the movie. They may have met informally, but not all together. Let me just get out of the way and play some of the audio for you. This is in no particular order, but if you see the video, and I posted a number of places, Emilio Estevez looks like Martin Sheen, and he's aged the best out of the men. Molly Ringwald, I think she's 57. She looks fantastic. Judd Nelson, he looks a lot older than his age should suggest. You know, he looks a little thin, like he's been living a lot of life in between. Here's Anthony Michael Hall and Molly Ringwald.
Anthony, Shirley, how did you know how to play stoned if you'd never been stoned at 16 years old?
If I may, don't call me Shirley. Airplane, anybody? I'm sorry. Was I stoned at 16? Yeah, maybe. Okay.
Some people start late.
Right.
That whole sequence when we were getting high, that was all improvised. Michael's stuff, my stuff, the I'm so popular at the school, like that, none of that was in the script. And he had like Judd said, he just let the camera go on and on and on. And he loved he loved the work that I did there so much that he took my mom into the room where they have the dailies to show my mom her daughter's work. And my mom is sitting there watching her daughter pretend like she was high for like 20 minutes.
How about putting a lipstick on with your boobs? That was amazing.
This is Molly Ringwald and Judd Nelson.
The script was so good to begin with.
Yeah.
You know, it was really, truly a joy to say those lines. And I always felt like we would usually do it as written, and then we would kind of do whatever we wanted. And he loved it. I mean, there's so much of the movie that's improvised.
Is it true that, I mean, the scene where you're all kind of revealing how you got to detention is mostly improvised?
No, that scene, I think, was pretty much written.
Yeah. Oh, that is
There
written.
were changes within it, but that structure was the same. What's amazing is when Michael is in the scene where he's stoned, this whole notion of chicks cannot hold their smoke. You know what it is. And he's doing all that stuff. Molly and I are off camera. It's on film, not on video. On the big Panaflex cameras, the biggest film magazine, 1,500 feet.
You got to keep this in front of you.
Everyone's a director. No. And you can hear when the film runs out. It clicks, clicks, clicks. Now, an operator, the guy who runs the camera, he's really not allowed ever to turn the camera off on his own. Even if it runs out of film, you keep it running until the director says cut. Michael's in the middle of close camera coverage of his routine. We love it. And we can't laugh. If we laugh, we blow the take. So it's on Michael, but we're all there trying to be quiet, and he's killing it. And the camera has run out of film. Hughes knows it. He doesn't say cut, because Michael's in the middle of a routine. So we all sit there, and we wait another 2 minutes until Michael takes a natural pause, and Hughes goes, cut. I mean, this does not, in my experience, it's never happened since. And that is a reflection on his affection for the characters that he created. He's the first writer who could ever write someone who was young without them being less, except less old.
Here is Judd Nelson on Principal. Can't remember the principal's name, but the actor was Paul Gleason, who played the principal.
Is there anything, we've touched on a few things, but anything that you take a personal source of pride in seeing in the finished film?
Paul Gleason. Paul Gleason, may he rest in peace.
Yes.
I think Paul Gleason was, he was a great guy to hate. You know, I really loved him, but he was fun to hate, easy to hate, very much an enthusiastic participant. So much in the movie that he did, I never saw till I saw the movie, because he's working separate from us. This hallway stuff, where him walking down and looking at his reflection in the fire extinguisher glass and going, Haga Naga. I mean, what the hell is he doing? It was great. It was really good. So I was glad I got to torture him a bit. And he would sometimes ask us at the end of work where we were going for dinner. Why do you want to know, Paul? I'd like to join you. Thanks, Paul, but we don't want you to join us. So when we do the scene where I'm in the basketball court, when he wants the basketball back, every take we did, I gave him the ball back differently and in a really kind of, if you'll pardon the expression, assholic kind of way. And on the one they use in the film, I roll it to him and he kicks it at me. And if I had not jumped in the air and spread my legs, the scene would have ended right there. So Paul was great. I really liked working with him.
John Kapelos also.
Oh yeah, Kapelos as the
janitor.
The last word I'm going to give to Emilio Estevez, who talks about the legacy of the movie. And I thought he made some good points. But the rest of it you can find online. But I wanted to play at least some of the remarks.
I think, Josh, what's interesting is as we're sitting here, and I've said this before, but it's interesting for young actors when you get cast in something like The Breakfast Club. It's a job that you got. Right? It's somebody said yes after there were 200 or 1,000 no's. And you never know what that movie is going to turn out to be, if it's going to even be releasable. So the fact that we've all ended up in this film and we have this on our resume is I mean, actors would, obviously we all have things on our resume we're not proud of, but this is one of those movies that is just, it just stands the test of time. It's generationally, it's a crossover film. And how lucky we are to have at least one. And we, many of us have more than just one on our resumes. It's an extraordinary thing, but it's never by design. It's always by accident. And I think that's something that people miss out on. Well, when you chose that movie, no, that the director chose us. We were lucky enough to be at the right place at the right time to be involved in something like that.
I didn't play the audio, but Molly Ringwald also talks about watching the movie with her children and their responses to it, and how, according to her, they didn't check their phones once. So there is something to be said for how the movie is dated, no doubt, is dated, but it can still hold up in the way that Emilio Estevez has said. It still is engaging. It's still funny. It's still that coming of age picture that many of us can still identify with, even though we, like even the speech at the end of the movie that Anthony Michael Hall character writes, you find yourself somewhere in that movie.
Did you have a character you identified the most with?
Oh, absolutely. It was Anthony Michael Hall's character.
Really?
Yeah, because I was like the band geek, the one who was, you know, I was not the jock. I definitely wasn't Bender. So yeah, absolutely.
Same.
Found myself right there.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Stephen A. Smith fancies himself as a presidential candidate. But having nothing to do with him, you have to be a narcissist to even want to be president of the United States, leader of the free world, head of the federal government and the tens of thousands of employees, directing domestic policy, international policy, commander-in-chief, and all that it entails. You are a megalomaniac to think that you individually are up to that task. Some are, as in some are up to the task. But most definitely are not. But either way, you are definitely a narcissist to want the job, to think that you could even do the job in today's world. But that's just the person who wants the job. There's a conversation to be had as to how this country picks its leaders and the person for the job. It used to be, and I think Mark remembers this time, it used to be that senators were hamstrung running for president because they had, quote unquote, no executive experience, like governors did. Carter, governor. Reagan, governor. Clinton, governor. You had senators become president, but it was a tougher sell once upon a time. America demanded, once upon a time, executive experience. But that was a different America. But let me get back to Stephen A. Smith. There's no Stephen A. Smith flirting with a presidential run without a Donald Trump to precede him. I think Mark made that point, and it's accurate. For some reason, and I made the point, we don't respect competency, experience, or expertise anymore. Executive experience no longer matters at all. Charisma has always been important, but at least ever since Nixon and JFK faced off in that first televised debate, TV presence matters. No doubt. Absolutely. You got to look good on camera. But we're way beyond the tipping point now. Half of this president's cabinet are either former television hosts or commentators, or they've run their own television production company like Linda McMahon, and way too many people think that that's okay. It's not, and that's not a political statement. I just think we can do better than people tied to TV. The president is a former TV reality show host. Recognize the pattern. Here's Stephen A. Smith's public resume, and it is inarguable. After Smith attended the Fashion Institute of Technology for 1 year, Smith received a basketball scholarship to Winston-Salem State University. I'm not making any of this up. 1 year, Fashion Institute of Technology. Smith began his print media career with the Winston-Salem Journal, the Greensboro News and Record, and the New York Daily News. Then the Philadelphia Inquirer, NBA columnist, radio host, television commentator, podcast host, television host, registered independent. Those are his bona fides, or bona fides, as some people say. Bona fides, some other people say. Stephen A. Smith, as I said earlier, is more famous than I am. He is much more wealthy than I am. But his professional resume that I just read to you and his relevant experience is little different than mine. In fact, I can say confidently, I said it before and I'll say it again, I have more applicable experience than he does. And if he were here on this show, yes, I would talk to him. I would tell him that to his face. And I'm here to tell you, even though I have more applicable experience, I'm in no way qualified. And nobody with a similar resume. Mark Rodder has a similar resume. And with all due respect, I don't think he would be,
I part my hair on the left, so I am qualified to be president.
Okay, well, with the exception of Mark Rodder, the rest of us are in no way qualified especially those with a similar resume. We're not qualified to command our troops, handle classified intelligence, work with Congress, or put it another way, lead this nation. But we live at a time where competency doesn't have any value anymore, just personality. Stephen A. Smith, he's a personality. And believe it or not, being president is a real ass freaking job. Although, we have collectively devalued the jobs that members of Congress do or the requirements for the people we elect. They actually do, folks in Congress, it does prepare someone to run a government, handle policy and classified information. That's why there are these things such as the Armed Services Committee, the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence, Transportation and Infrastructure Committee. They matter greatly. Civics, something this country has been grossly derelict in teaching. If you paid attention, you would know that. But most of us as Americans do not. When you want to discuss the latest trades and prospects of the Lakers winning the championship, call Stephen A. Smith and ask what he thinks. That's his stock and trade. You don't call him to legitimize his wet dream of running for president like ABC News did. But that's what ABC News did. And yes, I know ABC, ESPN, same conglomerate of Disney. I get that. But ABC News was bending over to pick up, elevate, and legitimize Smith and his delusions of grandeur. Legacy media already struggling to remain relevant and be seen as credible. And here they were putting another carnival barker on the Sunday news asking about his presidential aspirations. That, again, makes this country seem like a joke. I know that sounds harsh, but it's the truth. Not just anyone can be president. That's not a controversial statement. There are consequences to this foolishness and unseriousness. Being loud, opinionated, controversial, and speaking one's mind are not presidential job qualifications. Being on TV isn't a presidential job qualification. Having a sports podcast is not a presidential job qualification. And the sooner America figures this out, the sooner we can go back to normality and not a moment before. We don't hire pilots. We don't hire doctors, lawyers, plumbers, welders, teachers, dentists, gardeners, prostitutes on personality. We do it on professional competency. So why in the world would we even consider choosing a leader of the free world on anything less? For KFI AM 640, I'm Mo Kelly.
KFI
and KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.